So I saw this video on Instagram and it made me inspired to make this video for you guys today. Let's watch it together. So if you look carefully, this girl, she says she's not a cool tone girly, but more importantly, it's not about whether she's cool tone or warm tone, it's the intensity and saturation of the color. In the first clip here, you can see that the colors are very bright on her face, and in the second clip you can see all the colors are a lot more muted. That's why it looks good on her, and that could be happening to you. If you ever feel like warm tones or cool tones does not look right on you, sometimes it's just not about the tones but also your saturation. Because I used to think I was just picking the wrong shades, but I got a color analysis done in Korea. I realized it's not just about the undertones and whether you're warm tone or cool tone, but the saturation also matters a lot. So here's some tips how you can find whether you suit high saturation or low saturation colors and what's right for you. Hey girly girls, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sylvia and I love yapping about beauty and would love to hear about your thoughts too. So today we're gonna be talking about saturation and muted colors, etc. Sorry, there's a lot of people shoveling snow right now because we just had a snowstorm, so it might be really loud. Hopefully editing would help, but let's get into the video. So I used to not know whether I'm like cool tone or warm tone. I thought I was warm tone for the longest time, and I got this free consultation from Etude House and they said I was a vivid spring. So they said, oh, like super bright vivid colors look good on me, especially bright orange. So for the longest time I've been thinking, wow, bright colors look good on me, and I've been gravitating to a lot of bright colors. Looking back at all of my pictures with like me with bright colors on, my face looks so dull and it feels like the clothes are wearing me instead of me wearing the clothes. Then I bought a lot of bright lipsticks and I never reached for them because I feel like every time I put it on, it looks clownish on my face. It doesn't look right. The lipstick is especially apparent. Everything on my face, even if I put like high saturation eyeshadow or whatever, the lips, you can tell. So what is saturation? I'm not a color expert, but I've been looking into this. So there's a saturation and chroma, so basically how highly intense or muted a color is. So the higher the saturation, the more bright and intense it is, and the more muted it means there's a lot of gray. So for muted colors, there's a lot more gray added to the color, so the color is not as intense and it's very subtle, muted, mellow. So think of high saturation as neon or like bright colors, and then low saturation would be like dusty color or super soft colors. So if you don't know whether you're cool tone or warm tone, you can do this for both the colors. So I have two cool tone lipsticks with me right now. One is very high in saturation and one has more muted and very low saturation. So what you want to do is just put on the lipstick and see which one suits you better. I'm gonna put this on right now to just show you that high saturation does not look good on me, even though it's cool tone and I'm a cool tone girly. Now I have this on. I don't know about you, but the first thing I look at is my lip, and it looks really off. It looks too much on my face. Do you see what I mean? Now let's swap to the low saturation color. See, just wiping it off, I feel like I look a lot better. This color is not as bright as the other one. It looks a bit warm tone in the camera, but I can assure you it looks cool tone in real life because I have warm tone makeup today. But look how much more cohesive my face is. The lipstick is just not popping out of nowhere, and it doesn't look really weird, because before I feel like it was just sticking out on my whole face, but now it's like cohesive and it looks a lot better. So that's a simple trick. Just grab whatever lipstick that you have already. I'm pretty sure you might have high saturation and low saturation lipstick. Just put it on your lips and see how you look. You can just tell from the overall look and the vibe. Same with clothing. You can put on brighter clothes and darker clothes and see how you look. I have purged all of my bright color clothes, so I don't have any more bright color stuff with me. But just by looking at the clothes that I have on today, the gray actually looks a lot better on me than the black, because black can be a bit overwhelming, but with the gray it really balances out the look. So if you still enjoy darker colors or higher contrast colors, you can still wear them, but try to put them away from your face. So I have this one closer to my face and this one away, so then my face will look a lot more even with my body, with the skin tone and everything. If you're still not sure about the lipstick, another way you can tell is if you put on the high saturation blush and lipstick on and take a picture in front of your window with nice natural light, and then do the same with low saturation makeup, and then you can compare your photos. And to prevent biasness, I also recommend to send the pictures to your besties and just ask them which color do you think suits you better or which one looks better on you. So that way, if you're not sure yourself, you can have more opinions from your friends, and I'm pretty sure that can help you up as well. I'm just gonna give you some recommendations of high saturation makeup and low saturation makeup. Honestly, if I think about it, a lot of Western beauty brands, they tend to have a lot of intense high saturation makeup products, and Asian beauty, like Japanese brands or Korean brands and Chinese brands, they tend to have more of a low saturation palette. Of course, there are some exceptions to this, but I feel like generally I've noticed that Western brands higher saturation and Asian brands have a low saturation. So if you're trying to pick between whether you want to go for high saturation or low saturation, you can look between Western and Asian beauty. I used to shop a lot from Western beauty. I used to have a lot of ColourPop palettes and naked palettes from Urban Decay, but I never seemed to like, it didn't really sit right on my face, and that was before I knew about the high and low saturation thing. So now it really makes sense why I stopped gravitating towards Western beauty, just because their colors are really intense for me. And it just doesn't look as right, especially their eyeshadows. A lot of people care about the pigmentation or how pigmented it is, which is really bad for someone who looks better with muted tones and low saturation, because you don't want a high pigmented eyeshadow because it won't look good on you. I always talk about this palette, but this is the best muted cool tone palette, the Wake Make Lazy Pink, and this one is Muted Library from Clio. It's also muted colors, but personally it can be quite pigmented, so you have to go in with a lighter hand. I would say if you're a beginner, go with this one just because the pigmentation isn't as strong and you want to lightly build that makeup instead of going in with a high intense color and then blurring it out. I don't have the cool tone palette, but this is the warm tone coral shade, and this is great for muted autumns. So if you're muted but like prefer warm tones, this one is definitely great as well. None of the colors are super bright or anything, so I think it's a really great choice for you. Similarly, for the warm tone ones, if you're looking for a simple palette, the newest FlowerKnow shades, they're quite muted as well, so I would also recommend this if you're warm tone and you're looking for muted warm tone shades, the FlowerKnow's Strawberry Cupid collection. For blush, I don't really have a lot to recommend, honestly. If you have a super high concentrated color, you can just put a bit and blur it out so it doesn't look as saturated. The Wake Make Soft Mute, so this is the Mix Blurring Volume Blush. This is great for the cool muted. It doesn't really show up that much, and the color is quite interesting because it's the purplish grayish color and it goes towards a nudish color. It is very low in saturation but very pretty. You should check out the Seek palettes. I don't have the right one here. Some of them can be quite bright, so you want to look for the muted one. The Seek Blending Mood Cheek and Warm Blending, these ones are more the muted ones, so there's this one and the Cool Blending one. So if you're interested in looking for mute tones, I would recommend this palette, the warm one and the cool. For lipsticks, actually it's quite simple. You want to choose the lipsticks that don't really have high pigmentation. So the Florette Ballet collection, I forgot what this is called. These ones have more of a sheer texture and like they're not as highly concentrated. So I think the whole collection of this is great if you suit muted tones because the colors are not bright whatsoever. But if you're looking for other lipsticks, usually a lot of Korean brands now, they give you a chart which one's brighter, which one's lower, which one's cool and warm tone. Also, when you choose a color, just make sure it does not look bright whatsoever. The more dusty and muted it looks, the more chances that it will look good on you. So just try to avoid any bright colors. But next time when you're about to buy makeup, don't just think about whether you're warm tone or cool tone, also think about the saturation. I've basically purged all of the high contrast makeup just because I already know it won't look good on me. So now when I do have high contrast makeup, it's sent by someone and I'm trying out the makeup and I still realize it does not suit me. Let me know in the comments if you think you're high saturation or low saturation. I am definitely a muted girly and would love to know more. So that's all for today's makeup. Let me know if you guys want more recommendations of cool tone makeup. I'd love to share with you guys. And I didn't go with the tier system today because there isn't much new makeup after a week, so I'll be back doing the snatch scale and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!